Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Profile Plus. This is Padma. In my lesson today, I'm going to teach you all some common weather words. See, example, when we talk about these weather conditions in day-to-day conversation especially, there are many people who stick on to the very common and usual way of mentioning all different types of climate. Maybe we could have studied all these things in our schooling. But how many of us are using this in day-to-day English? We have completely forgotten all that, right? So in this video, let's just have a recap of whatever we have studied in the school and again start using all of these words in our day-to-day conversation depending on the weather conditions. Let's begin. Yes friends, the very first word we use very frequently here is sunny. See, normally when the climate is quite hot and the sky is totally clear, okay, that's when you use the word sunny. The climate is very sunny, means it's quite hot. So how do you say that? Sunny. We just name it as a sunny climate where the sky is very clear. The next climatic condition is cloudy. This is like a little before it rains. Okay, so you can see the logs and logs of clouds on the sky. Sometimes you could see that dark clouds. So that is when we just name this weather condition as cloudy. The climate is quite cloudy, means it's about to rain. The third one here is rainy. This is a very usual word. So when it rains or when it frequently rains, so we just call that climate as a rainy climate. The weather is quite rainy. Okay, so when it rains outside also we say it's raining. That is different. That is raining. It's raining here. But how is this weather? Raining. How is this weather? It's raining. The next one here is windy and breezy. See, when you have that very soft wind, okay, where you will enjoy your cup of coffee sitting on your terrace or the balcony, that's called breezy. But when it gets stronger, we call that as windy. The climate is quite windy. I mean, it is little more stronger than the breezy climate. Breeze normally we enjoy it, but windy is quite stronger than that. So you should always remember, depending on the weather condition around you, you must use all these different words, friends. The next word here is snowy. When it's snow. See, normally here in Coimbatore kind of a climate, we rarely see this, right? So it's not quite snowy here, but there are many parts, many places around the world we have this climate typically called as snowy, where there is a snowfall. So that's called snowy. Maybe in north we have certain places like that. We call those areas are quite snowy when there is a snowfall. Then the next climate here is tornado. Tornado, what is tornado? This is something like quite stronger than the wind and storm. See, normally you have this kind of a rounded winds where it just gives a huge sound, isn't it? People get completely afraid of it. Tornado, sometimes it just takes away all your sheets and all your drying clothes on your terrace. So that's called the tornado. It's quite threatening for you. So you can't call that simply as windy. This is quite stronger. Okay, this is quite stronger than the wind and it's quite dangerous too. So that kind of a climate are called tornado. The next one is foggy. See, this is typically, there are many people I have seen in my experience, they use this climate, they use this word very wrong. Normally when you just travel to the hill stations like Nilgiris or Kodaikanal here, we see a lot of fog. Means this ice, the water gets vapor and it just deposits before it reaches the sky. It just deposits in between. That's called the fog. That they are not called as a cloud. They are called as fog. So this is called as fog and the climate is called foggy. It's quite foggy and it's completely a very pleasant climate. People who love the hill stations, they know what it is exactly, okay? So that's called the foggy climate, friends. Now, coming back to the next line. What's called the flood? The flood, immediately after the rain, when there is a heavy rainfall, we see a completely water stagnations and it is like quite a flood on the roads. Normally yesterday there was a little bit of heavy rainfall in the afternoon, and after a few minutes, while you're traveling on the road, you can see the flood. You can see the vehicles completely coming like a boat on the road. That's when we call that kind of a climate called the flood. Okay, so there can be a very heavier ones also. People get suffer, but there are some small flood also happens after the heavy rainfall. I have taught you the word heavy rainfall is just replaced as, what is that word I taught you all? I hope you remember that word, downpour. So what's that word called, downpour? Downpour means it's heavy rainfall. You understand this? Next word, blizzard. What's called a blizzard? So it's the next version of snowy. When you have a snowstorm in certain areas, that's when you call it as a blizzard. See, normally in the country like US, sometimes they face it, okay? So the snowfall becomes stronger and stronger. It becomes a snowstorm. So that's when you call the climate as blizzard here. The next word is drought. So what's called drought? Drought is like, you can have it like a clue. Drought means dry climate. So when the climate is absolutely dry, there is no water. So we also face sometimes, even though we are here in Coimbatore is best for the climate, still we also face such climate conditions here and there. So that's when we call that climate as drought, where all these water resource areas in fact become dry. So that climate is nothing but a very dry climate called drought. And also when I have to tell about this drought climate, I also talk about the humid. See, the people who live on the seashore, normally the climate becomes humid. So when you travel to the states like Kerala or many other places in Tamil Nadu and outside Tamil Nadu also, when the people lives in the seashore, they can understand what is this humid climate. Your skin all gets sticky to the climate. You can't call it simply sunny or hot. So it is humid. Okay, that's when it is typically like you will not get the proper breeze or anything. You will feel like more sticky on your body. That's when you call that type of a climate called humid here. So drought means a dry climate, friends. That's very simple. Dry climate, drought. So now lightning, you all know what's lightning. I think we have learned in this rain vocabulary what's called lightning. So during the rainfall or before or after the rainfall with the thunderstorm, and you will see this flashlights on the sky. That's called the lightning. It's a very simple vocabulary, but still I picked that for you to just recollect what it is. Spring season. So what's called the spring? Maybe you might be thinking like, yeah, I've heard all of this in my schooling. Yes, in our schooling we normally learn all these kind of weather words. Spring is nothing but when it is between summer and winter, where all your plants starts to grow. So this is the most pleasant climate of the year. So in the spring season, normally all these plants will just bloom. All your roses will bloom. Spring season is a beautiful season basically, okay? All the photographers might know. Yeah, the autumn. Autumn season. This season is again between summer and winter. But in this season, normally all these trees shed all the leaves. Okay, so we call that, there is another name for the autumn season. I have written it here, called the fall season. Called the fall. See, example, okay, what's the weather there? It's fall. Means the trees are shedding a lot of leaves. So it's typically like not very hot. In fact, it's autumn. Autumn means all the trees will just shed their leaves, and during the summer it again blossoms. So not on the summer, sorry, on the spring season. So this is the two difference between summer and winter. In between you have spring and autumn season. But weather conditions, please remember to use all these vocabularies, just matching up to your current weather. So on your day-to-day conversation, try not to use this usual word or the repeated words, because that makes you sound very basic. Means the people who are seriously looking to develop their conversational skills or the speaking skills in English, definitely you must know a lot of words, friends. I hope this video must be useful for you. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button. That will motivate me to do a lot more videos like this in future. Enrich, empower and emerge with English. All the best, friends.